Hello, everyone, and welcome to another podcast of Living Life, a Life You. Today, I'm joined with Dr. Smith and Dr. Johnson, who have a lot of beautiful, great information to share with us of what's going on within the university and our participation. Hi, welcome, guys. How are we doing today?
Welcome. We're doing great.
Thank you.
Doing great.
That's awesome. And before we start, can you introduce yourself? What is your role in the university? And then we'll go from there. Dr. Smith?
My name is Michael Smith. Of course, I'm one of the associate deans in the College of Graduate and Undergraduate Studies. I kind of specialize in academic engagement as well as community. So I kind of work somewhat on campus, but also my preference is to work off campus. It's what I call myself a professional friend raiser. But I work with a professional fundraiser in advancement and development.
Oh, and my name is Saphronia Johnson. I'm the Assistant Dean of Natural Sciences here at the College of Graduate and Undergraduate Studies. So I work to recruit students into our undergraduate program with majoring in biology, as well as other fields, just getting exposure to the institution.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for everything that you do for university. I have taken classes with Dr. Smith way back in the day. I took about 3 or 4 courses in my was preparing for my bachelor's of biology. So thank you for all that you did with me during my time school here. I'm
Seeing you again.
always extremely grateful for your energy and your love and how you got to teach us. So thank you.
That's good.
Thank you.
You were an ideal student, too.
Thank you. No, he's saying that. I'm joking. So talk to us about, there are some great innovative things going on between Life University and the U.S. Armed Forces. Talk to us about what does that project look like? What is going on?
I'll let Dr. Smith.
Okay, but first of all, let me get into the impetus or the genesis why we're doing this. We started a program called Life After Life. What was happening was that we wanted to prepare students for life beyond Life University. I have a famous tagline that degrees don't pay the bills, jobs do. But you got to prepare for a job as a student, so we wanted to connect our students here on campus naturally with our external environment, hence our community. Naturally, by default, the Armed Forces was one of the avenues I think students should be able to travel and pursue upon graduation.
Correct. So with Dr. Smith's help, he helped to connect us with various recruiters from different armed forces that are recruiters here local in the area for students to talk to. So one of the ones that we've had and a great support with was the United States Air Force, in particular with their Health Science Profession Scholarship Program. So we brought Dr. Smith. We brought Master Sergeant, he's Tech Sergeant O'Shea on campus to speak with the students regarding different opportunities and how to get their graduate or their professional degrees paid for. So they came on campus, he spoke to a lot of our students, and we were able to send them a couple of recruits over to talk about that and getting them to either pay for medical school or dental school.
Wow, that's amazing. And how do those roles come about? What does that journey look like for a student?
So what would happen for a student can be a pre-med, pre-dent, pre-health student. Student naturally have to take the MCAT or the DAT, some qualifying or admissions test, and then they can get what's somewhat called matched. Then, of course, that's when the Armed Forces would take over. In this case, it's the Air Force. Then will provide for their tuition. Once they go to a professional school, they also provide a monthly stipend. Stipend is about $2,600 to cover the insurance. If you ever know about all the benefits of the Armed Forces, definitely the Air Force. They're all, of course, under the umbrella of the Department of Defense. So it gives the students financial support, a lot of training, and then once they leave, they must provide, a one-to-one match. So naturally, to do 4 years. They can then give 4 years back to the Armed Forces, but they have a guaranteed job after life.
And one of the great things about doing the health professional scholarships is that you're an officer as you are going through your training. So you're in medical school. You go to OTC school, officer training school, during your intermittent, so they don't want to disturb your actual education process.
Right.
But you do that either the summer before you're going to medical school or when you get out, or you can go to officers training. So they're getting paid as a salary as they're going through as well. And then, like Dr. Smith said, once they completed their medical school, they are obligated to serve with the Air Force. And it is a one-to-one match. So if they paid for 4 years of medical medical school, then they're obligated to pay for 4 years dedicate 4 years into service there. The beauty of that is that service is then you're practicing, right? So you're actually working in your field, doing exactly what you were trained to do.
Wow.
And then once you complete that commitment, that 4-year commitment, you can either re-sign up with Air Force or you can go on and do whatever you needed to do. It's a debt-free medical school paying avenue for our students.
Wow, that's awesome. And what are some of those steps that students need to take in order to prepare for an opportunity like that?
Well, first of all, they need to make good grades.
Okay, yes,
Because
important.
They have to be accepted. That's for your basic sciences. Both of us are basic scientists, I guess, by training. General chemistry, organic, the physics, the biochemistry, the courses that we take here to prepare the student for those qualifying or those admissions exams. Okay. And then they must then receive an acceptance. And once they get an acceptance, then they must then submit the application via the Air Force. In this case, it's the Air Force. So that's when the Air Force recruiter or officer then will take over. And then I think as of last year, there were 200-something slots available by the United States government. As a matter of fact, Sergeant O'Shea was calling me even towards the end of the year, Doc, I need some students. There's been a shortage of applicants that's been credentialed or qualified applicants for their program.
Right, and we have some great qualified students here at Life University that can definitely fill that void that we have in armed services as well. And it ranges from whatever they would like to do. Of course, the Air Force program needs come first, but then whatever you would like to do, then they'll fit a match with that. And they also have a residency program, which is really good because if they have come out with a doctorate in physical therapy, then they can apply for the residency program. Or they have a DO, they can apply for the residency program, and they'll pay for residency as well. So they're not incurring those costs when you get out. The beauty of being I'm a Air Force brat, right? So my mother and father were both in the Air Force.
Okay.
But the beauty of that is that your medical is paid,
Wow.
but then also your malpractice insurance is also paid by the federal government.
Wow.
So you can practice knowing that you have the entire armed forces behind you and that you're delivering the best service to our servicemen, men and women.
That is amazing. What a beautiful
Add something to what I had a conversation with Sergeant O'Shea. I said, what's the difference maybe between an Air Force physician versus a civilian physician? He says they get a chance to practice medicine or to practice healthcare to the 10th degree.
Right.
Let me explain what that means. He was telling me that because of the insurance, whatever, they sometimes could be limited because if the insurance doesn't cover it, the patient needs it, they can sometimes just do it. But the Air Force, because you're an Air Force facility or some sort of civilian facility associated with the Air Force, then they can practice it with no red tape because they know it's going to be guaranteed type of service. Wow. If they can't have it here, they'll fly you to Germany, anywhere in the world to make sure you get that service. They pay for your travel, your lodging. I guess the military language, they call it, you be placed on orders.
Yeah, place on orders, yeah.
So you're covered. So those service physicians are better trained sometimes than civilians because they get a chance to practice their profession without any type of red tape or any type of bureaucracy.
Wow.
That would say that's a huge difference of many times that an Air Force or somebody that's from the armed forces being trained, they get a chance to practice what they learn.
That's awesome. In other words, just gain a bunch of experience that your colleagues might not have if and when you decide to go into private practice and things like that.
Correct.
That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary. What are some ways that, or actually before that, when does a student qualify to be able to apply for that match for that program? Can they do it like first quarter or?
So this happens after they have graduated, since all medical schools and most professional schools require a bachelor's degree for you to sit to those entrance exams. So they have to be graduated, they have to have passed the entrance exam, whichever exam they're taking for that professional school, and be accepted into the school.
Gotcha.
So once they are accepted into any school of their choice, then that's when they would go talk with the recruiter, and then he would say, okay, you're accepted, you have all of these things. They still have to pass the physicals in order to get into the military. So they have to go through MEPS, the qualifying stations for the military there. And then they'll say, okay, you have this, let's write you off, and we'll write a check for that. The beauty is they also get a $25,000 sign-on bonus when you're signing into the military.
Okay.
So that check comes right after they finish their OTC, and they're just off training.
Wow, that's amazing.
It also covers other areas that people. It covers dietetics.
Uh-huh.
It covers
Psychology.
psychology. So
Oh,
the
wow.
other professions that we have here in the undergrad program, those students also can qualify
Does
for the
that,
program.
and I'm sorry to interrupt you, does that also cover chiropractic? I have to ask, I'm a chiropractic.
It does not cover chiropractic at this time. But as the Congress sees the needs and they change. So it's really based upon
Right.
what the needs are of the nation, and the Congress determines that. So even now many slots, because Dr. Smith was saying they had over 250 slots remaining, that's based upon whatever the Congress deems is necessary for the armed forces to go forward.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And in our trip next week to San Antonio,
Yes.
will be one of the questions that we're going to raise with the general.
That's
Because there's going to be there's going to also be a Q&A session. How can the armed forces better serve the needs of the community and the country? That'd be one of the questions that we're going to raise.
Definitely. We're trying to still do a whole picture healthcare system, and chiropractors play a big part in that. So make sure we're getting those in there. And if we're offering these health profession scholarships, then why not open it to all of the health professions that we have?
That's awesome.
Right.
How exciting. How
So-
amazing.
That's our charge next week, is to make sure that chiropractic is going to be front and center.
My heart is jumping from excitement right now. Well, is there anything else that you would like for the community to know about this program, or a little bit more about the university that you would like to share?
Well, I'm looking forward to the trip next week.
Oh, yes.
It's all expense paid.
Yes.
Per diem for our meals. They taking us from the airport. We'll be doing touring some of the medical facilities as well as some of the research facilities.
Wow.
And we get a chance to see a commencement of some of the soldiers at Fort Sam Houston,
And
Randolph.
yes, the
I
joint
think, and
air base
Lackland.
there. So it is going to be very exciting just to go and see, and just to learn more and what opportunities there are for our students. So it's going to be a very exciting time.
That's awesome.
And I think we both feel honored because there were only 30 persons, I think, selected nationwide.
Yeah.
Wow.
As they say, influencers in the academy. So we feel very special and honored.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Look at you guys being influencers.
No.
Positive influencer. It's so
Positive
important.
Positive influences, yes.
And it's so beautiful to have you guys as golden nuggets and positive influencers in the walls of this institution for people to reach out and kind of answer questions and be inspired and learn of opportunities and options and routes that you had no idea even existed, like
Right,
myself.
Exactly.
We're also working with the Army National Guard.
Yes, we had them on
We had them on
campus.
campus
And then we'll
last
have the
week.
Navy.
The Navy's coming. So the Army National Guard actually provides scholarships even for undergraduate students as they're
So
matriculating.
that will be a first quarter
Wow.
opportunity
Yeah.
for students.
I need a whole podcast on that one.
No, they have, trust me, they have some, and they're covered, but the insurance is covered.
Wow.
The travel to and from the bases. As a matter of fact, there was a student that's on the wrestling team that's from Colorado.
She's in the Colorado Reserve, Army Reserve, and now she's in Georgia. So we really had a great conversation on how to get her transferred state assignments, or what is it best interest for her to stay with the Colorado State. So it's a lot involved, but it's a lot of information. And it's a great opportunities for our student. I'm just a big advocate for debt-free education. So any opportunity we can bring to the institution to relieve that financial burden on the families is always a great thing.
She got a huge signing bonus as an 18, 19-year-old.
You get 20,000 if you do
20,000.
reserve.
Wow.
Army Reserve. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Just deposit
it's
into your
National
account.
Guard. Yeah, and it's
National
local.
Guard.
So you only do within your state. So they can't deploy you overseas. They can't, it's only statewide. So that's really
Yeah, they,
good.
I think they get their orders from the governor
Yes,
of the state
from the governor.
versus the president. So it's pretty interesting. So
how interesting ideas and ways to, financially relieve the burden of, higher education nowadays, which is
and
very
they have
high.
a guaranteed job once they graduate. They don't have to go around, not say doing the resumes or looking for a position
Right.
and trying to find a perfect match. And normally their specialty can then be transferred, those transferable skills into civilian life. That's the beauty of it, is that you already have the training, you got it paid for, and also many times the armed forces get even special preferences, even in hiring practices because of their service to our country.
All right. And the other thing is that networking opportunity, big network. Right, so we have to build out our network as much as possible. So just getting our students in front of other people and just having them say that they graduated from Life University and these were the opportunities that we took advantage of is really big.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations, guys, on being those liaisons for students to receive these opportunities. Thank you for stepping outside of your box and your offices and your roles to make this happen, for sure. So
Definitely.
thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your Friday with me.
No problem.
I hope this happens more often than not. Thank you again for everything that you do for our students. Thank you for all the nuggets that you have served on me throughout the years. I'm really appreciative of you. Well, guys, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us at another episode of Living Life a Life View. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.